Fellow hobby joggers, so this is the Hoka Skyward X. It's a $225 training shoe. You're getting a lot of foam, you're getting a carbon fiber plate, it has all the technology, and it's one of the most versatile shoes of the year. In my experience with it, you can go slow, you can go fast. It's there if you want someone for easy recovery days. It's there if you want to pick up the pace a little bit. But you don't need to pay $200 or $225 to get versatility and to get some range in a running shoe. And that's one of the things that we talked about a lot this week in the first run review of the Trigger Warning 5000s. Is that a versatile shoe? At what price point do we start expecting versatility? What does it even mean for the shoe to be versatile? So today I want to go over some of the best shoes on the market right now to give you that range. So 5 most versatile shoes under that $200 price point, because in my opinion, if we're paying $200 or $225 for a training shoe, and the median or roughly average of training shoes right now are $160, if we're gonna pay $60 more for a training shoe, or 20 to 30 to 40% more in some cases for a training shoe, I'm expecting to be able to use it for more types of runs. That's how I evaluate these $200+ shoes and tell you whether or not they're a good value. So something like the Hoka Skyward X, even though it's expensive, you don't need a shoe like this in the rotation, but what you are gonna get out of it if you decide to buy a $200 or $225 shoe, one like this, more fun, more comfort, and more versatility. But today we're gonna go 5 most versatile shoes under that $200 price point that punch a little bit above their weight. So let's do it most affordable to most expensive, starting off with the Revenge Tour Champion of Summer 2023. This is the Adidas Adizero SL2. So this is the most versatile shoe that you can get at the lowest price right now. This is $130 MSRP. This is the second version of the shoe. The first version of the shoe is actually $120, and I was one of the 17 people that liked it. I've said this before, the first version of the Adizero SL was not a love shoe, it was not a hobby jogger hit, but this one is, because Adidas has softened up the platform a ton. They've made it more flexible, they've given it a lot more pop, and the reason they've done that, well, the reason is because people hated the first version, but the way that they've done that is adding a lot more of this race foam in the middle here. So if you take a look at this little strip here, this foam is the Light Strike Pro. That's the race foam. It gives a lot of bounce, a lot of pop, and this is a shoe that I've used for everything up to 23-mile long runs, and I've also done some shorter strides, some shorter speed work at a 5-minute pace or even sub 5-minute pace, just doing some short sprints or short surges. So if you are looking for a fun, bouncy, comfortable shoe, it's not the highest stack, but that you can use for a bunch of runs and you don't want to pay a ton of money, I would go for the Adizero SL at $130. Now, next up here, we have the New Balance 860 V14. This one is $140, so going up in price here. This is actually a stability shoe, but one of the most versatile shoes because of the foam that New Balance uses here. So this is part of the Fresh Foam line. Can you see that? New Balance's Fresh Foam line of shoes, but the way that they've tuned this foam is a little bit softer than the 880, which is the standard daily trainer in the Fresh Foam lineup, but firmer than shoes like the 1080 and the Balos, and really bouncy. So you have the bounce, you have the roll, this nice rocker here, and then you also have a plastic plate. So they call it the stability plane, but it's almost like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 or the Hoka Mach X with the plastic plate here and with the rocker. So a hidden gem, a really underrated shoe that a lot of us on the Supwell app and Supwell community have started to go toward and understand that there's a lot of value in this shoe. Even though it's not hyped up as the next high-tech training shoe, it is. You get 2 types of foam, you get the plastic plate, it has a great smooth roll experience, and this is one that I've used for everything up to 20-mile long runs. I love it for steady everyday miles, so for me, getting down to that 620, 640 pace, and anything in between. So if you're looking for a do-it-all shoe with some structure that's not gonna bottom out, that's a little bit of a difference between these two shoes. SL2, not necessarily gonna bottom out, but a little bit thinner in the forefoot. This has a little bit more cushion while still not a super max stack shoe. So New Balance 860 V14, one of the best workhorse daily trainers of the year. This is the one I would get if you want a durable do-it-all shoe with a little bit more of that traditional feel. Now, next up, $160, moving up. This is the Saucony Tempest. Now this is actually another stability shoe, and what these two shoes have in common is the dual foam. So both of them use 2 different types of foam, one softer, one firmer. In the case of the Tempest, you have this softer race foam on the bottom with a little bit of a firmer cradle here, and then you also have this rocker. So these are actually two pretty similar shoes. There might be a touch more bounce to the platform of the Tempest, and the Tempest also has a little bit more of that standard stability feel to it where the heel is a little bit locked down. But for I think it's actually $120 now. I said $160, that is the MSRP, and that's the MSRP of the Tempest 2. But if you go for the original version, which is the same exact midsole, I think you can get it for something like $120 if you use Running Warehouse and you use my code, which you can get on the Supwell app. So a really awesome shoe for anything. Again, this is another shoe I've taken up to 20 miles. I've done some faster sprints here and there. I haven't done actually a lot of mileage on this shoe, but it is a Supwell certified shoe. A lot of hobby joggers love this one. So if you're looking for a do-it-all shoe with some support and bounce, that would be the Tempest. I'm partial toward the 860 over the Tempest. This just feels a little bit better for me as a neutral runner who doesn't need the most stability and support. But if you want a touch more support, then the Tempest is going to be good. Let's take a look at the back here. The Tempest has just a little bit more of that lockdown feel in the back. 860 feels a little bit more like a neutral or traditional training shoe. So moving up in price, actually staying at the same price, but Tempest you could get for $120, $130 on sale, is the Puma Deviate Nitro 2. So I actually got 4 miles in this morning. I got a 4-mile recovery run in, and it was great. And I've also taken this up for a 20-mile double day, and I think I did a 10-mile run straight out of the box. So we have about 40-something miles on it now, or 30-something miles on it now. And like the last version of the shoe, it's soft, it's bouncy. It doesn't have the most stability, but it feels good for me across my range of paces. So this morning in my recovery run, I was about 8 flat or 8:30, and then I've also taken it down to the 6s, and it feels good. And I did some strides during that run, and it feels good. So difference with this shoe with some of these other shoes is the toe box is a little bit narrow, and overall the shoe just feels a little bit tighter on foot than some of the other shoes. But if you have a narrower foot, shouldn't be any issue. They also do have this, I think, in wide, or they should if they don't yet. Then the other thing is the Puma grip. So really good for running in the rain. The 20-mile double day test I did in this shoe was in the rain, and this performs well. So if you want a plated training shoe, and that's what this is, you have the carbon plate in here with the 2 different types of foam. That's kind of a theme with, I think all these shoes that I pulled actually are dual foam shoes. And I find that these dual foam shoes, I didn't even do that on purpose, but these dual foam shoes tend to be more versatile because when you're going slower or more relaxed, you get the stability from the back foam or the bottom foam, and then when you're picking up the pace, you get the pop and pep from the front foam. So look at this, dual foam in the SL2, dual foam in the 860, dual foam in the Tempest, dual foam in the Puma Deviate Nitro 3, and dual foam in the last shoe I'm gonna highlight here. So this is the most expensive shoe, kissing that $200 price point. This is at $190, Hoka Mach X2, but my favorite of the plated training shoes this year, right up there with the Puma Deviate Nitro 3. I put the Skyward X in a little bit of a different category than this. This is more of that traditional plated training shoe. The Skyward X is that super max stack shoe designed to pamper your legs. This has a tiny bit more range so far for me than the Skyward X because of the lighter weight. I would not, at my paces, and this is where differences come into play for different types of runners, at my paces, I wouldn't be doing a threshold workout in the Skyward X. So my last threshold workout that I did 2 days ago, I did it in the Mach X2. I actually had to do it on the treadmill because we had a hurricane out here. Now you can see that the hurricane is completely gone. But I did it treadmill threshold workout, sorry, wrong shoe. And this thing, I got down to 520s or 530s. I was doing 2-mile repeats at around 11 minutes and even I think 10:50s for 2 of them, about 8 miles of total threshold work at around a 5:30 something pace, and this shoe crushed it. Yes, I was on the treadmill, which is a little bit softer, but as I was running fast, this shoe just felt amazing. When you land toward the middle or front of the platform for towing off, it's great. You get a lot of bounce from this race foam here. So this is a PIBA, this is a polyether block amide. Then you have the plastic plate to stabilize it. But the kicker here is, yes, it's great for that workout. And then yesterday, I also did a 4-mile run with the family around the neighborhood. We've been doing these family runs in the afternoon at a 10:30 pace. And it was also great. So it can do 10:30, it can do 5:30, it can do everything in between. Mach X2, the upper isn't the best. Some people have had some issues with this, the back here, kind of scraping the legs. I didn't have any issues with that. I used the padded socks and it was fine. I actually really like the fit of the upper. It feels super dialed in, but at $190, this is the one I would pick if you're getting up to that $200 price point. You want a shoe that can do everything. You want a shoe that you can train in. You want a shoe that you could race in. If I were to pick one shoe right now to take on a trip, this would be it. This is the one shoe that I would pick out of everything that I have. If I know I'm gonna have to do marathon pace and everyday runs and recovery miles, this is the one that I feel has the best range. And of course it's the most expensive one, but most of the time here, and this was what I was trying to say in the Trigger Warning 5000 video, most of the time here we are getting what we're paying for. These brands aren't randomly assigning prices. As much as I love to berate these brands and hold them accountable, they're not just saying, let's price a shoe at $190 or $225 just to see if we can steal people's money. Yes, it might be a little bit overpriced, but for the most part, most of the time you are going to be getting more technology, more foam, a better ride experience out of the more expensive shoes. It's not a conspiracy, and I'm not advocating buy the more expensive shoes. We need the more expensive shoes, but it's like any other product for the most part. And this isn't always true. A higher price doesn't always mean the quality, however you define that, is better, but most of the time it is. And when it's not, like with the Trigger Warning 5000, I will tell you this is overpriced and you shouldn't buy it. And I'll also tell you where there's great value, like with shoes like the Audi Zero SL2 and 860 V14. So there are also times throughout the year where you're able to get the SL2. I think a lot of people got this for 90 bucks on the app when it dropped, and there's always promo codes flying around for the SL2. So if you are looking for a bargain of a do-it-all shoe for marathon training or whatever it might be, this would be it. Just wait for that code to pop up. So SL2, this one leans the fastest. This is gonna lean the most durable, most consistent, most reliable. That's the 860. Tempest is gonna be the best one if you need stability and versatility. Deviate Nitro 3, this is gonna be the best one if you have a narrow European style foot and you want something for marathon training. And then Mach X2, absolute banger of a shoe. I can't wait to get a 20-mile long run in this one after the Chicago block is done. I'm only doing Carbon County until Chicago for my long runs, but I can't wait to get this up to 100. I can't wait to put more miles on it. One of the most versatile shoes of the year at that $190 price point. Most expensive, but a great shoe if you want a shoe that can do it all. I recommend this over the Trigger Warning 5000. I recommend this over almost every other plated training shoe that's come out this year. SC Trainer V3, people think I didn't like that shoe. I personally found it okay. That doesn't mean it's a bad shoe. It's just, again, doing most of my longer runs in Carbon County shoes, doing most of my faster workouts in more aggressive shoes. It's not the most aggressive shoe. If you want a solid shoe for long runs, SC Trainer V3, especially for bigger runners who want more stability, is great. But this is my pick, and a lot of people on the Supwell app are enjoying this shoe. So I didn't do the Supwell app at the beginning, but if you are looking for a new running shoe and you want to get a good deal, sign up for the Supwell app. We have a gently used running shoe marketplace where you can buy, sell, and trade. You can also connect with other hobby joggers, post any questions about shoes or about training. It's $1 a month. Link is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I dang near one take Jake that thing. I think I might have had to, we'll see. We'll see how many cuts I'll do when I edit, but that might have been like 2-3 cuts max. And this is the thing, man. We're just warming up. I'm just getting shots up. This whole channel right now is, I'm just getting shots up. Just watch out. Little boy's getting disrespectful. We're just practicing. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'll see you guys tomorrow.